Hi, Jake. It's Phantom.
Sup, LSP?
Everyone knows Lumpy Space Princess as the over-the-top drama queen of Adventure Time. She's loud, dramatic, and always causing chaos. But here's the thing, there's actually a lot more to her than meets the eye. LSP's story is about insecurity, love, and trying to figure out who she really is in the Land of Ooo. LSP commands attention. Every dramatic gesture isn't just for laughs. It's a window into a character who knows what it feels like to be overlooked, dismissed, or misunderstood.
Monster!
The truth is that her sass is survival. It's a shield and a way to carve out a space for herself in the world. She's messy, chaotic, and sometimes a little dramatic. But through that chaos, she teaches us about resilience, identity, and the unexpected ways we cope with loneliness. In Adventure Time's second ever episode, Trouble in Lumpy Space, which was first aired over 15 years ago at the time of recording, we meet Lumpy Space Princess. Her debut introduces her as a guest at one of Princess Bubblegum's tea parties. Right away, LSP is seen accidentally chomping on one of Jake's legs.
Oh, what? Sorry I bit your leg.
You're still biting me!
Oh my gosh.
Causing Jake to start coming down with a case of the lumps. As Finn and Jake accompany LSP into her kingdom, via mushroom and frog portal, of course, we get a glimpse into what life is like for her at home. When LSP's parents find out she has brought outsiders into the kingdom, we see her family dynamic in action. I have a feeling they don't see eye to eye on some things. Later, when Finn and Jake finally get their hands on the antidote on top of Makeup Point, LSP unintentionally insults the smooth posers, causing them to take the orb back. We are starting to see how LSP can rub others the wrong way. And while there may be good intentions behind her actions, there may also be a lack of self-awareness, at least in these early episodes. Lumpy Space Princess craves connection, but she doesn't quite know how to ask for it. Instead of vulnerability, she throws herself into dramatics, turning her insecurities into performance. Her first interactions with Finn and Jake already hint at this duality. From the start, Lumpy Space Princess isn't just comic relief. She's a character built around contrast, dramatic on the outside, complex underneath. Even in her very first episode, the show sets the tone for what makes LSP so compelling. That mix of humor, vulnerability, and raw personality is what makes her one of the most memorable and surprisingly relatable characters in all of Ooo. The Monster, an episode where LSP runs away from home, really demonstrates her over-the-top reaction to a conversation she had with her parents. She feels betrayed, and so she leaves Lumpy Space. The episode is basically a showcase of LSP doing what she does best, taking something that scares or frustrates her, in this case, feeling powerless, and turning it into a performance, which keeps anyone from seeing her more vulnerable side. After trying her hand at solo survival, and then being exiled from a pack of wolves, she ends up in a small village. This village is inhabited by small, fat villagers. Using their false belief that she is some scary, evil monster, she eats all of their crops. LSP takes advantage of these village folk and uses their fear for her own survival. Finn and Jake end up finding her in the village windmill and get filled in on the details. In recounting her events, we can see that she often causes her own problems due to her love of drama. After one heck of an apology and a pursuit by an angry mob, LSP has her lumps up against a wall. On the spot, she is forced to come to terms with the fact that she's been stealing from the parents of this village.
Why don't you just get your parents to buy more crops? We are parents!
Parents just like her own. In an instant, LSP realizes that her actions affect others, and that she can choose action for good instead. By giving up her basket of sandwiches, she makes a little progress towards becoming more selfless. Before you know it, she's at home bragging about saving the village to her parents. It seems like wounds have been mended for now. It's a reminder that for LSP, growth doesn't happen all at once. It's messy, loud, and full of weird detours. And that's exactly what makes watching her so interesting.
Oh my god!
In Gotcha, Lumpy Space Princess shows just how much chaos one character can inject into the world of Ooo. She takes center stage with her over-the-top schemes and wild antics, convinced that she's orchestrating brilliance while the rest of the world just has to catch up. One sunny day, Turtle Princess asks LSP for some advice on men. She suggests to LSP that she should write a book on how she works those lumps, or as Turtle Princess puts it,
Lump studies.
LSP sees this as an opportunity to cement the fact that no man is immune to her lumps. So LSP agrees. The subject of these studies is none other than Finn. Equipped with a voice recorder and a fresh, squeezy mart plastic bag dress, LSP sets off to get some research done. The entire time she is researching for her new trashy book, she is convinced that her lumps are irresistible. However, when the trio arrives atop one of the mystery mountains, Lumpy Space Princess has to put up with being ignored by Finn for the sake of throwing rocks into the loch of phantoms.
Jake, kerploop.
Kerploop.
Once inside the cave, she tries to further seduce Finn, resulting in her getting trapped in a chamber of cursed mirrors. You gotta hand it to her.
She's stuck in there.
We gotta bust through this wall.
She is persistent with her research. After being saved from the cursed mirrors, Finn drops some sage advice on LSP.
LSP, you don't need a mirror to know you look good. You're beautiful on the inside. Like your brain and stuff.
She reflects, pun intended, at least a little, on the situation she's gotten into. When it's time to put all of this research onto paper, LSP hesitates. She realizes something. Her understanding of true beauty is being developed in real time. With that newfound understanding, she brings her manuscript to Turtle Princess. And she loves it. What started off as a self-centered glory project ended up becoming a catalyst towards self-development. LSP ended up sourcing her material from a real deal epiphany. In classic LSP fashion, she thrives on drama, often escalating minor situations into highly emotional events. Here, though, she demonstrates that she can reflect on events and show a level of maturity that some may not have thought possible, even addressing things within herself. In the end, she writes a book about how our lumps on the inside are more important than our lumps on the outside.
Thanks, girl.
Good night, girl.
Good night, girl.
In the episode Bad Timing, LSP wants to use PB's new tech to travel back in time, back to a time when her ex-boyfriend Brad loved her. LSP is dealing with lingering heartbreak and almost causes a war between kingdoms because of it. Later on at the Candy Tavern, after harshing Charlie the bartender's vibe,
This isn't a movie, Charlie. It's real life.
she reconnects with an old classmate named Johnny, and within minutes, she's in coach mode, fixing his posture, hyping him up, and repositioning herself as the one person who gets him. Underneath the attitude, she's chasing something simple: security. If she can tune Johnny to the right frequency, maybe he won't leave. That early warmth is real. Their vibe is sweet, goofy, and intimate. The record cover gag, the flirty back and forth. LSP isn't just performing, she's genuinely connecting. This is one of the few times we see her social superpowers used to comfort someone else, instead of just commanding the room.
You feeling good makes me feel good, Johnny.
She's tender, even nurturing, while still keeping the spotlight on herself. Then jealousy hits and the tone whiplashes. When Johnny lands a follow-up meeting with Princess Bubblegum and tells LSP it's private, LSP doesn't hear work boundary, she hears rejection. Her response is pure LSP escalation, grand, dramatic, and wildly out of proportion. She moves from hurt feelings to destructive gestures because big actions make big emotions feel controllable. If she can make enough noise, maybe Johnny will stay where she wants him. Here's where Bubblegum's time travel device comes in handy, a save load kind of tech that literally lets you log your molecules and revert to a prior state. To LSP, it's not science, it's a magic button for fixing love. She wants to roll Johnny back to the version of him that loved her, skipping the conversation, the apology, the work. This is LSP's core flaw in the episode. She treats relationships like scenes she can reshoot until the feelings line up. Control first, communication never. And then comes the tragedy.
Hi, Johnny.
Because she doesn't log Johnny before using the device. Instead of rewinding him back to their best moment, she erases him from their universe, banishing him to a place between time and space. It's one of the darkest consequences tied to LSP's impulsivity in the whole series. A single jealous choice, a button pressed without full understanding, and the person she wants most is simply gone. The episode's circular framing and outside time aesthetic underline how irreversible this is. What does LSP do after finding out she majorly globbed up? She does what she's always done when pain gets too real. She looks for an easy solution. She asks Bubblegum to use the device properly on her, to erase her own memory so she won't have to mourn Johnny. That is LSP at her most vulnerable and her most avoidant in the same breath. She can't sit with loss, so she deletes the part of herself that remembers why it hurts. If you map her choices in this episode, a few things pop out. She opens by calibrating Johnny, posture, confidence, momentum. It's caring, but it's also management. If she's the one steering, she can't be abandoned. A boundary feels like betrayal, so she escalates. Big gestures let her replace uncertainty with action. The time device becomes a way to skip accountability.
I'm going to time travel you back to when we first met at the tavern. Back to when you loved me.
When the shortcut fails, she chooses not to remember, rather than learn to live with the consequence. What's striking is how consistent she is through all of this. LSP's bravado isn't random. It's a strategy. She's allergic to helplessness, so she fills the space with volume, jokes, schemes, anything but stillness. In Bad Timing, that strategy finally meets a problem it can't solve. Bad Timing lands because it doesn't punish LSP with a moral or reward her with a tidy fix. It just shows the bill for confusing control with love. And if you've ever tried to reload a relationship to an earlier save, pretending the bad parts never happened, you know exactly why that doesn't work.
Over the course of the series, we've seen her navigate the complexities of identity, relationships, and self-worth, often in her own unique way. What's interesting is that even when she's making terrible decisions or causing chaos, there's usually a sliver of vulnerability driving her. Whether it's a breakup, a fight with her parents, or feeling like she doesn't belong anywhere. Her bravado is almost always covering something softer underneath. Early on, she comes across as this overdramatic, spoiled teenager who runs away from problems rather than facing them. But slowly, through all her misadventures, living in the woods, hustling her way into social circles, chasing love, and clashing with friends, she starts to show flashes of self-awareness. She doesn't exactly stop being dramatic, but she starts owning it in a way that's more confident and less desperate for approval. Episodes like Gotcha and Bad Timing reveal that deep down, LSP is constantly searching for connection. She wants to be loved, but she also wants to be respected on her own terms. And while she still stumbles a lot, her mistakes start to come from a place of trying to do something right rather than just feeding her ego. Adventure Time shows us that we are always growing into our lumps. The important lumps, the ones on the inside. Although LSP can be a handful at times, those around her learn to accept her where she is on her journey, as she learns to accept Ooo.
LSP, you're wearing garbage for clothes.
Gotcha.
Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this Lumpy recap. We love making videos about Adventure Time, and our reporters around Ooo have said that there is lots to cover. So if that sounds like a good time to you, please hit that like and subscribe button. Catch you in the next one.